We are suffering some of the biggest casualties right now to people's finances. And that's a lot to really think about. And I'm talking about layoffs.
To
Hello,
Hey, Simon, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Hey. Hey, thanks for making time on short notice. And sure, my invite was rattling and not awesome, and you do not have to turn your camera on if you don't want to. I have a couple of notes to share with you, um, but I'll still be glad to have those notes to make sure I cover things, but I will also follow up with an email so you don't have to retain everything I'm going to say. Made the difficult decision to restructure the XD org, and as a result, reduce the size of the org. And unfortunately, you're impacted by this change. So your last working day is today, but the good news is you'll be paid through February 2nd. Yeah, those are the most important pieces of information. Your system access as an employee will be turned off at some point today. I'm not sure when exactly. In your Workday and Benefits portal, you'll still have access to until February 2nd as an employee, and then after that, you'll have access to it as an alumni. And then I'm going to email you the specifics of your severance, benefits, and a few other details that will probably be helpful later when you're ready to go through them. And then on your last day, you'll get your severance documents via DocuSign to sign, and I'll go to your personal email address. I want to pause. I know I just rattled off a whole bunch of really big news. Is there any questions or anything that you want to ask?
Are there any reasons other than just like restructuring? Like, what's the reason for the restructuring?
That's a really good question. It has to do with the company is doing consolidated priorities this year and next year. They are looking to, so the org, it has nothing to do with performance. It has nothing to do with location and everything to do with the company wanting to do less in tech and take on less priorities. And as a result, the team is being reduced to support that.
Another question I had was around like my remote status. Is that like a factor in this as well?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It did, to be perfectly honest, it did count the remote status in general came up as a potential discussion, but it ended up not being a factor. Well, please don't obviously feel pressure to do anything today other than take care of yourself.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Simone. Well, please again, take today and take care of yourself. And again, I'm really sorry that this is happening.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. See you on LinkedIn, right. I guess. I have already cried today. I'll probably cry more.
My name is Mike Galletley. I live in Tooele, Utah, and I work for the United States Department of Agriculture as an IT technician.
My name is Yolanda Jacobs. I work with the CDC out of Atlanta.
My name is Imelda Avila Thomas. I do work for the Department of Labor, Wage and Hour Division in San Antonio, Texas.
My name is Trika Henry. I work for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and I live in Lenox.
Well, you knew it was only a matter of time before one of the big corporates tried to figure out how they could lay off a bunch of people, mass layoffs without severance. And it appears Meta is going to be the one that tests this. They announced layoffs of up to 5% of their workforce. I think that's close to 4,000 employees. And they're using performance reviews in order to decide who they're letting go. Now, there's mixed signals. So if you're in Meta and you've got one of these severance packages, let me know, but I heard it's going to be minimal compared to what a traditional layoff package is. So maybe they're trying to skirt around the legal issue. Again, this just brings it into call, are they phantom pips? Are these folks at a performance review after 20 years without any issues. They got one performance review and now they've been terminated. To me, this sounds like a way to turn over the folks they want out of the organization subjectively. Could it be age related? Could it be cost related? I would bet almost everything I have that it's going to be cost related.
The uninvited attention that you are receiving when you get that phone call and you feel like, damn, it's not the type of energy I want in the morning time. And being laid off is something that can really cripple somebody right now, especially in this economy. Being laid off is something that you can't prepare for. I know we live in a time where they always talk about having 6 months of money saved. Well, guess what? That sounds good. Everything always sounds good when somebody's giving you the information. Even sounds better if I'm telling you right now, me having rental, and I say, yo, you need to build up. You need to make money outside of work. You need to do this. You need to have 6 months of money saved up. If I was somebody on the outside and I'm telling them that, they need to be like, man, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. That's exactly how I feel when I hear people give out that information. You know why? This is not the economy that you can really build up 6 months unless you're making a certain amount of money. And I'm talking about a certain amount of money. This is the things that leads up to you being able to minimize off of having a savings of 6 months if you're lucky and blessed. I'm not going to even say just lucky and blessed. I'm going to just say if you just happen to be that person that land a very, very high salary job that's making you high 6 figures. And I'm talking about high 6 figures of at least a good 250 and up. Whereas though you able to have at least 6 to 12 months of money saved. You able to have real estate bringing in income. And even that's not guaranteed, because the people that's renting from you lose their job, then what? Where that lead you? So when you look at that, you look at how you save, how you spend money. It depends on where you live. See, this is the thing. Being laid off is going to hurt many. But it also depends on where you live that's going to cripple most. You live in New York, kiss your ass goodbye. If you making a certain amount of money in New York, that shit would be gone before you blink. You mess around, pay that rent the next 2 months, boy, you done probably went through, maybe what? At the most, maybe a good 6,000 to 8,000. It's on the generous side in New York. And the cost of food and everything, woo, damn. Then you look at LA, the list goes on. When you look at how the livelihood of most people is diminished by what's happening today, it's nothing to frown upon on. We actually in a space now where as though a lot of people have to figure out what they're going to do. But the problem is about trying to figure out what you're going to do is we don't even understand how the economy is really going. We don't. We see massive amounts of layoffs. We see in government right now in shutdown. Not only government is in shutdown. As this video progresses and goes on throughout months, the government most likely be back at work. But guess what? Everything else I'm talking about will still be going on. So you got government right now at this time that's on a shutdown. In the midst of a shutdown, they're actually getting rid of certain departments in government. Has nothing to do with just the shutdown. They was already implementing that. Problem is, while people thinking they're reporting back to work and going to get a paycheck, you're not getting another paycheck. How you prepare for that? See, it's easy to go around here and tell people to save up enough money in order to make it out of what? What you making it out of? Like literally, if you save up 6 to 12 months of money, that means you don't have any overhead. How many of us will be able to save up a lot of money if we had no overhead? A lot of us do. But the problem is, in order to get to that, you got to have shit paid off. You know how hard it is to get stuff paid off? I understand people say people living above their means, but guess what? The world is built off of people above their means. Do you not realize that majority of the things that people buy out here is above their means? Rolls Royces, Bentleys, Lamborghinis, all these things, these big ass mansions, all these things are outsourced to people that living above their means. Just because you see a couple millionaires living in homes don't really mean that they can afford it. It's just that they have the income right now that's coming in, that's able to afford that lifestyle until that shit plummet. This is why you see more athletes go broke after retirement, and not after retirement, after they stop playing. And then they go into so-called retirement. This is one of the reasons why you're starting to see more and more people that end up working and never retiring. Because at the end of the day, in order to get shit paid off, you still don't own it. You still got taxes. Yes, taxes is way less than paying a mortgage. But you know what's harder to pay a mortgage off? Being able to live your life and then say, yes, I paid my house off. And then you, 55 years old, paid house off. And now your health is now deteriorated because you done bust your ass to pay everything off. When people say pay it off and what? You ain't never lived. Never lived. This is one of the things about layoffs that shocks people. It's easy to say what you can do, how you can set yourself up. Stop listening to all these millionaires and billionaires tell you how they doing it. Certain things are just in people's in people's peripheral that's able to get them there to what they're trying to get to, their goals. But everything that they put out, I'm gonna tell you right now, I done went through some shit in real estate. I done went through some things, some casualties, and some ups and downs. I done been like sitting up through the night, like, damn, I gotta get this kitchen done. I done slept for 3.5 hours, set my alarm, got up, I gotta be to work at 7. Got up at 3 in the morning. 3. Made coffee. I'm walking around like it's regular work time in the morning. It's not. But what it is I'm sitting there and I'm actually trying to get stuff done. So what I start to do is I start getting work done at 3 something in the morning. And then next thing you know, I look at the time. I'm like, damn, those hours done went by real fast. Now I'm looking. I'm like, wow, it's now 6:45. I gotta be out the house by 7. At least I'm not 7, but I'm messing up the time. It's 5:45, should I say? 5:45. And then next thing you know, I'm taking a shower. I'm stretching my hours. I'm stretching it when I know I gotta be out the house. And I'll get to work. I'm doing my job. Get off of work. I'm drained now. Sometimes you got the energy. Sometimes you don't. You gotta go to bed. This is the thing that a lot of people are going through right now. They can't figure it out. It's hard to figure things out when these layoffs and these shutdowns and whatever's happening in these jobs, whereas though you're home and you're not getting paid, or you have to wait on a check that you have not seen a check for at least 2 to 3 weeks, shit, some of a month. And then if you out and you do get let go, next thing you know, you like, when my unemployment gonna kick in? Still, mortgage still has to be paid. Rent still has to be paid. Where we at? Tell me, where we at? Where we at? Are we at a place now where as though you can wake up and say, hey, I know what I'm gonna do today? It's kind of hard to figure out what you're gonna do when you ain't got no goddamn bread. Like, I understand we live in a life where as though you can see a bunch of Jones online and they flossing, they doing their thing, they looking like the baddest thing on earth until you find out that motherfuckers is broke. We living in a world where as though we seeing nothing but panhandling all through social media. You know what I'm talking about? Cash at me. Yeah. We got layoffs out here that's plummeting people, men and women. Ain't nobody getting along. When the money stop flowing, motherfuckers stop showing up around you. Because there ain't no bread to be spread across the table no more. No more faking no more, y'all. Can't. That's why you ain't seeing no scammers now online. Because now government done got a hold of that shit. And they going after bank accounts now. You got to show proof. It's layoff season. Be safe, y'all. Like and subscribe.